been a while since I posted a video. I'm out here on the Sacramento River fishing for salmon. Got the anchor out, and I've been meaning to do a video where I actually talk about the things I don't like about my Mako 204. It's not very many things. Actually, I would buy this boat again in a heartbeat. Enjoy it very much. But there are a few things that I wish was a little different on the boat, so I thought I would just spend a few minutes and talk about those things and maybe some things that could have been improved for anybody that saw my longer review when I first got the boat. You know, maybe these are just some things to think about on top of that longer review. So just looking around, initially it's a little windy too, so hopefully there's not too much wind noise. So one thing I don't like is I don't like these rod holders, not because I don't like the rod holder, but because I can't actually access and reach the back to unscrew those. The pin, the bottom of that, actually came out, and I was able to get the pin by going through there and reaching my arm around, but it was kind of a pain, and I had to epoxy it in there instead of pressing it in or riveting it in the right way, because I couldn't actually access these nuts. Generally, you shouldn't have to be able to access those to take it out, but if I ever wanted to replace that or put in a vertical one instead of an angled one, it would be very difficult. I'd probably have to drill these out and use something that didn't have a nut on the back if I replaced them or changed them. The other thing I don't like is that the fuel tank, when I connected my kicker motor, the fuel tank doesn't have a secondary pickup on it, which I don't know if they planned on having a kicker installed on this boat, but there's no secondary pickup, so I had to install a manual switch in this hatch that I go between both motors, which is kind of a pain. I have a video on my kicker install, but you know, I have to open this hatch and flip it. When you're on the river, it's a little challenging because you got the current and you're drifting, and you got to switch them over pretty efficiently. Another thing I don't like is, really don't like the anchor situation at all. I love the anchor locker here. It's awesome. They really thought about that, but they really didn't think about how to attach the anchor to the boat. So what I had to do is I had to get this yoke, and it's one of those yokes that you use to tow inner tubes behind a boat with an outboard. And so I got this yoke, and as you can see my setup, I actually have to attach it to these two cleats in order to get it out through the center. There's nowhere to attach it. There's nothing here that allows me to get the rope over the light. I mean, if I want to attach the anchor down low, I can't actually reach that loop. So they really did not think about the anchor situation on here at all. So if I wanted to moor off of a marina or out in the ocean, if I go to like Capitola and wanted to go down into Margaritaville and anchor off and moor off the wharf there, I wouldn't be able to actually clip the anchor to that thing without reaching all the way over and having half my body out of the boat. So I think they really messed up and didn't think about that. I'm actually considering making a billet aluminum bracket that has a pulley on it that goes over the light, so that so I can actually anchor properly. I mean, they thought about the hatch having the little opening here, which is awesome for the rope to come through, but I'm not going to connect. There's a little eyelet down there. I'm not going to connect it to that, because then the rope's going to be going across here and potentially kicking the light off, which I've already had to replace that once because another boat hit me. And the other thing that's super frustrating, and I've heard it's even worse on the 184. This is the 204, but putting fuel in the boat, they really did not think about that. Some gas stations, I can barely get the fuel nozzle to fit between this railing and get it into the actual the inlet here for the fuel. I heard on the 184 it's almost impossible if you have this accessory rail, and this rail is something that I would definitely buy again. It's actually nice to sit up there with your back against it. Plus plus it's just a nice benefit with the kids on the boat. But I really think that's just a huge oversight to not be able to access that with the fuel hose. There's one shop in town near me, or one gas station near me, that I actually can get it in there without having to put it in halfway and hold the sleeve back, because the way it's shaped, it actually fits in there nice. I still don't like, and I mentioned it in my review, I still don't like this fact that this thing always has standing water in it. You can see down there that there's water at the bottom. I put this secondary tub in there to put all my tools in it that's got a rubber seal on it, so that when I'm out in the salt water, it can't get to my tools and rust my tools. Because when I first had it in there, I had tools and my crescent wrenches got all seized up because they rusted. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, the back. So this is also a little bit frustrating. It's not a deal breaker, but you got this cleat right here, which is great for my bumper. I just throw it in the bucket there, but that cleat's great, and it's great for protecting this side of the boat. But then I'm assuming they expect you to use the rub rail right here as your bumper, because there's no cleat anywhere along here to tie your dock line. The cleat's actually at the back right here, which is great, but you can't actually put a bumper on it because this is so low. I've tied up to other boats and I have nowhere to tie a bumper along this side, so I have to rely on the other boats' bumpers that they can put on the side. So that part's kind of annoying. So whenever I pull up to the dock, I have to use this bump rail or rub rail to rub up against the dock, which I would prefer to use a bumper and not actually have to use the boat for that. But so far it hasn't really shown much wear and tear, so I guess it's doing its job. And then I'm not a super big fan of these rod holders. They're awesome, but this distance is a little short, so when you have some of my bigger bait casting reels that sit on the bottom, they actually sit on the ground, because this distance is too short, and then you end up tripping on them and stuff. So, you know, if this thing was up a couple more inches, it would be a lot nicer, because then my rods wouldn't actually be touching the bottom. And I'm still on the fence whether I like these cords in the middle. There's three of them. I might take the cords off the middle, so I'm not fumbling trying to pull the rods out when I'm in a hurry, or just when I get to wherever I'm going. Those are kind of the primary things that I don't like. I would like more cup holders. You know, there's two in the front, but these actually get in the way all the time. So I bought this Bro Craft one that mounts the railing. I don't really like it, but it's the one that gets used the most. It'd be nice if, you know, this part's already molded. I don't know why they wouldn't just mold in a couple of cup holders across the front. And a lot of guys like to go out and drink beer while they're fishing, and if they got nowhere to put their beer, I'm sure it's frustrating. I don't do that, but I get kids on the boat all the time, and sodas everywhere, and we run out of places for sodas, and when they're down here, they get knocked over or kicked or whatnot. Those are kind of the main things. The anchor thing didn't really bother me until I started fishing on the river, but and also this summer when I was out on the lake, trying to anchor it was a pain whenever we wanted to swim. It's just not very efficient. And like I said, if I end up making that bracket, I'll do a video on it. I'll just draw it up in CAD and then have the part machined and bolted up there. So that's pretty much it. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. That's about all I can think of right now. I had a list of things, but those were the main ones. So that's it. So thanks for watching, and I don't think I'm gonna catch anything today. I saw a few other boats today. They had no luck, so I'm gonna just enjoy the day and sit out here. And so check back next time. Thanks for watching.